there has to be some common sense.
Yes, sir. They have the car stopped in 10th and Ranch, Michael Byler.
We still don't know who pulled the trigger. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, retired out of Manhattan North Homicide Squad, a 27-year NYPD veteran. I'm going to be riding this alone tonight. Phil couldn't make it, my partner, Phil Grimaldi. You know, folks, we all followed this case from the beginning. I believe it started on August 6th when Kiely Rodni went missing from a party at the Presser Lake. And there was so much different theories, and a lot of things were thrown out there that basically had no basis in truth. Even early on in the investigation, the police, the Nevada County Sheriff's Office came out with a statement that they thought she possibly was abducted. There didn't seem to be any real evidence behind that. So I wondered why they in fact put that out, that there was possibility that she was abducted. And as they started to conduct their interviews, they started to get a better picture of what may have happened. But then, like playing the game of telephone, people they make the investigation murky by spreading false rumors, poor information. You got to realize these investigators, I believe they had over 1,000 tips. How many of those tips do you think were good? How many were just pure garbage, to use the French word for garbage, garbage tips? But yet law enforcement has to follow up on all of them. And one of the things I think that law enforcement erred on, I think they kept talking about the man hours that they had put in, the searches, the volunteers, how hard they were working. The bottom line is the only thing that the public and the family cares about is results. In a way, they don't want to hear about how many hours you've worked, how many police organizations are involved, theories behind it, evidence you have behind it. That's important. Well, the theories aren't so important because we've seen here on YouTube how much actual just noise goes out there. No evidence in regards to the case at all, but a lot of people putting out a lot of noise. And again, I believe that ultimately hurts the investigation. So what happens now? Adventures with a Purpose, amazing, amazing private organization that dives in bodies of water and searches for people. And since 2019, they've solved 23 cases. They've recovered 23 bodies. I mean, that's incredible. But, if you know how law enforcement works, law enforcement can get very jealous, not just of private entities that do work that they should maybe be doing and maybe be more proficient at it than they in fact are. Law enforcement gets jealous of each other law enforcement agencies, and there's big egos involved. So at some point, I don't know which law enforcement agency called, but they called Adventures with Purpose. And I believe they started searching these bodies of water on the Presser Park there, Presser Lake Park, on Friday. So it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Ultimately, they made a discovery. I was on the air yesterday. I got a call from one of my YouTube subscribers, fans, Kevin Haddon, and I thanked him on Facebook. He messaged me on Facebook, and he told me Adventures with Purpose have just recovered the 2013 Honda CRV that belongs to Kiely Rodni. And in the 2013 CRV, they recovered a body. Now, there was not a lot of detailed information. This was on Adventures with Purpose, their website. But that's as good as a confirmation as I was going to get at that point. So I decided to run with it since it was on Adventures with Purpose Facebook site. And I thought that had to be pretty credible information. Now, following that, of course, this I didn't get this notification till about 5:30 in the afternoon. So I immediately went right back on the air and to report what I knew and the new information coming in. Apparently, it occurred at about 3 p.m. And all law enforcement agencies, of course, responded to the scene. People wonder in a situation like this, should Adventures with Purpose recover the body? Or should someone from law enforcement be on the scene and recover the body and photograph and be part of the recovery? And absolutely, the chain of custody, the chain of evidence demands that law enforcement be on the scene. So they should actually, someone from law enforcement, the case detective, whoever it might be, should be on the scene to recover both the 2013 CRV and the body belonging to Kiely Rodni. And photographs should be taken on the scene. Of course, you want to give the utmost respect and privacy to her family, but crime scene preservation, and of course, this 2013 Honda CRV is a crime scene, and they must treat it as such. And it appears that the vehicle was underwater for 15 days since yesterday was the 21st, and I think Kylie first went missing on the 6th. Remember, the last ping from her cell phone was at 12:30 a.m. hours on the 6th. Now, that's one of the questions I have, and a lot of people have, and hasn't been answered yet. Was Kylie's cell phone recovered inside the car? And as of yet, that question has not been answered. There's so many questions we want to know. People are asking questions like, was the car in neutral? Was it in drive? How did the car get that far out in the water? How did the car flip over and wind up on its hood? Those are all questions that are legitimate questions that need to be answered. And hopefully, investigators will answer them. Was there anyone else in the car? I believe if there was, they would have reported that. Now, it can become problematic when a private entity recovers a car with a body in it because it's not law enforcement and there's a chain of custody, a chain of evidence. But that's why I said law enforcement has to hustle up and get onto the scene. So this afternoon at about 11 a.m., there was a press conference, and the captain, Captain Sam Brown from the Nevada County Sheriff's Office, he had a lot to say, as well as the chief of the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. She mostly talked about how they were working for the family and they wanted to bring closure to both the family and to the community. And all the law enforcement agencies worked together and the volunteers worked together. And ultimately, they were able to recover the car and the body and provide closure to both the family and to the community. And again, she was thanking a lot of the law enforcement agencies, talking about the cooperation and how difficult an investigation this was. And we'll get into that more, how difficult the investigation was and how it was that Adventures with Purpose was able to search the same exact area as the police did. And the police had sonar and all the toys, maybe not as sophisticated as Adventures with Purpose, but they searched that very same area and did not find the car or the body. So luckily, Adventures with Purpose doesn't just take an agency's word for it. Oh, we searched that. You can clear that. They don't clear a body of water until they are satisfied that it's clear. And thank God they did that, because they researched an area that law enforcement had already searched, and lo and behold, they recovered the vehicle and they recovered the body. I'm going to play part of the press conference. And this is Captain Sam Brown. Great name, great cop name, huh? Captain Sam Brown, don't you love that?
sure that an agency had reached out and requested from within our unified command, but as everybody's reading online and seeing all the information that was coming out, and we realized that there was an interest from Adventures with Purpose, we did link up that group with Sergeant Mike Powers with the Placer County Sheriff's Office. They had lots of communication as they were going to be traveling to this area, and then a lot of detailed information that was shared that wasn't necessarily out to the public yet that hopefully was of assistance to helping them locate the area to go to.
You said the car was found in the area where you've been searching since the beginning. What did AWP have that maybe you guys didn't have, or why was that missed in the initial search?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That's one that everybody's going to have, right? Is how did we not find it when we were searching? The lake was extensively searched with side sonar, with an ROV. We had divers, we had swimmers. I think that's part of what we're going to have to go back to do and debrief. You know, when peace officers are out in the field and volunteers and searchers, it doesn't mean that they're experts in the field, right? These are sometimes ancillary duties, and we're calling from other agencies to try to jump in. And tracking underwater is an extremely difficult thing to do. So I think part of our debrief on any of these situations is how do we figure out to improve our services, work on our resources and the way that we use them. A lot of this equipment is high end, very expensive, and you really need to have a lot of practice and expertise. And I think that's where a group like Adventures with Purpose is able to focus and practice those skills and really hone them. And so we're appreciative that they were able to come out and locate it. I also don't want to take away, though, from anything from our volunteers as well as law enforcement that have been out.
You know, I find that this captain is excellent. He's very humble. He doesn't claim that his guys are experts in scuba diving or experts in the operation of sonar or experts in water searches. And he took a back seat to Adventures with Purpose. And in essence, that is what that humbleness, which I applaud him for, is what resulted in recovering the body and the car of Kiely Rodni.
Out there. I mean, we literally had people swimming in the water looking down so that we didn't disturb the ground initially. You know, my understanding is the vehicle was upside down. That also makes it more difficult. And if silt and things come up above, that can also make things difficult. So before I really can say, hey, why we weren't able to do it, I also could say that we eliminated a lot of areas that we would still be searching if we didn't have all the great people out there. And that helped give them some guidance as well, I think. But
you know what the captain was referring to there, that Adventures with Purpose, of course, interviewed the detectives and went through the case folder as to where have you searched? What information do you have? Of course, the pinging of the phone is extremely important. That was the last location that Kiely was known to be, which was very close to the campgrounds. And lo and behold, the vehicle was recovered only minutes away from where the party was. And that's in the area, the water, and that area is where she crashed.
Clearly their expertise in diving and their equipment that they brought to the table assisted us, and we appreciate that.
Did they specifically have any specific technology that all of these 16 law enforcement agencies didn't have?
I'll have to debrief with them before I'd have the answer to that question. I believe we're going to try to do that today.
Adventures with a Purpose has referenced red tape a couple times, saying they don't have the red tape that maybe your assisting agencies have. What is that red tape, and why might it be easier for a private organization to do this?
I don't know exactly what we're talking about in regards to red tape. I think that from the very beginning, we never deterred anybody other than certain scenes that we closed off at times that became areas of interest and we wanted to protect for evidence. So I don't know that there was any red tape ever put on this. I mean, if you look at the amount of man hours that went into it, it was like over 15,000. And I know it's even higher than that now. I don't think there was ever red tape. There were maps created for civilians to be out. The boat ramp in the lake were never actually shut down because the way we were looking at it is more eyes out there, the better off we're going to be for finding Kiely. And that was continually the goal. So I'm not sure that there was ever red tape. I think it comes down to lots of factors. And like I said, we're going to debrief and try to figure out how do we become better and do a better job at these types of operations.
Why did agencies believe it was an abduction at first?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of miscommunication. I don't know that it was ever labeled as an abduction. I think that you can never take that off the table. And so as we talked as a command group in unified command with all my partners that you see behind us, you couldn't remove that off the table because we hadn't found her. And so, there was some of the struggles with some of the services that we wanted to obtain and things we wanted to do, but we couldn't say it wasn't an abduction, but we also never said that it was an abduction. I think that was clarified fairly early on. But we also probably wouldn't have received all the services and all the people if that wasn't an option. If this was truly a search and rescue mission, we may not have had all the resources to conduct interviews. I think they identified over 400 juveniles, and to be able to interview all those folks and provide feedback off of all that, it takes an army of people. And I think we were lucky to be able to put that together between my partners and agencies that are right behind me.
Did any of the juveniles, anybody mention a car going over the side, a car on the water, out of all those?
I don't believe that statement was made, not to my knowledge.
Was there any indication that this was an accident or foul play?
That's still being investigated. If we'd like, we could turn it over for CHP can give some information. They are conducting the accident investigation utilizing their MATE team. Thanks. The question.
Folks, that's the other thing. The vehicle accident part of this. Did they have skid marks on the side of the road? Did she ever even touch her brakes? Or their tire marks? All of these questions, I believe, need to be answered. Have they been answered yet? I don't think they've been answered yet, but they absolutely need to be answered. I want to show you some video of the scene. This is the location and what it looked like yesterday with all the police personnel. I don't know how much of the press personnel were on the scene, but it's this is the Presser Lake Reservoir, and this is ultimately where the car was recovered. And apparently, it's just minutes from where the party was being held. And one of the amazing things about this is I want to show you where, in fact, the car was recovered. I think you'll be able to see it in the water. There you see that red buoy. It's right there in the water. It's a bad situation, of course, because the police did search that very area. Does that make them look? Does that make them look bad? Um, I think it does. Uh, let's hear from Adventures with Purpose. Uh, let's hear a little bit uh, of their little press release of when they gave this out to the press office after everyone recovered the car and the body. And let's play this.
We understand that the resource we provide with our unique skill set is rare, and it is an honor to help agencies and families all across the nation. We will be working together with authorities here to share this knowledge over the next couple of days. It is always our mission to promote and share the techniques we utilize so that our purpose can help as many people as possible.
We'd like to thank all of our supporters. We can't thank all of you enough for your donations and putting us in this position as we continue to grow and help more families. Simply watching our episodes, liking, sharing, subscribing, and following our social media platforms enables us to do what we do. So thank you all for putting us in this position.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps us help families, and it's free. It's free to subscribe. Additionally, we would like to acknowledge the incredible support from law enforcement agencies across the U.S., including the FBI. We hope to continue our efforts hand in hand with them with the upcoming cases of Jalissa Fuentes in Selma, California, and also Annette Adams in San Obispo, California, coming up later this week. At this time, I'd like to thank our entire team for making this happen. It's not just me, it's not just Nick. There's an entire team of us that are out here. We collectively go through these cases, these investigations, and it takes a team to do so. I'd like to bring you guys on camera at the moment and thank the entire team that made this entire trip possible. Carson, Cade, Kevin, Josh Cantu, Devin. This is our entire team. Like I said, it's not me, it's not Nick. You know, it takes an entire village, including you guys, that put us in this position to do this. And it's an honor, because without your support, we would not be able to do what we do. So thank you guys. Thank you guys as a team. We appreciate all your hard work on the road. It's not easy. You know, we travel across the entire nation, day after day, state after state, city after city, helping family after family and agency after agency. And it's a lot of hard work when we're out here and we're trying to do something that hasn't been done before. And thankfully, we're in the position to do so because of you guys and all of you at home.
Thanks, guys.
We will be taking the next 2 days to properly debrief, decompress, and prepare for our next case, which is 22-year-old Jalissa Fuentes in Selma, California.
Please keep the Rodni family in your thoughts and prayers as we are. Hug your loved ones a little tighter and take the time to take time, as we never know when it will be our last opportunity to do so. I hope, as tragic as this outcome turned out to be, that this will carry on so that we are able to help the next family like we did here. Thank you.
At this point, we mentioned earlier, you guys are free to use anything that we've shown in this video in your own news reporting. We'd also like you guys to take consideration that we are fielding a lot of requests for interviews. We will process them as we do get to them. Again, we thank all of you for putting us in this position. It wouldn't be possible without you. I know we say that enough, but at the end of the day, we're just normal guys put in the position by you. Without your support, well, you know, none of this would be possible.
Folks, what can you say about that organization? They're amazing. They're just like EquiSearch, you know, EquiSearch that with Dave Rader and those folks. Just incredible. I mean, if you can go on Adventures with Purpose website and make a donation, I implore you to do so. I mean, just think of this organization, how incredible the work they do is. And just think of doing this all the time. You think that you might have a bit of PTSD from doing this? I think you might, you know. Jade Mako, seriously, Jalissa Fuentes, some weekend disappeared with car. Sadly, she hadn't had a widespread exposure, and her family was begging people to share her disappearance info. I don't know about that case. The families and the police organizations in an area where someone is missing, they can request Midwest Equisearch, or they can request Adventures with Purpose. So it's not just the police. You have to be an advocate for yourself and for your loved ones and for your friends. But as I said, these guys are just incredible. It's just, I mean, think of the work I said yesterday. They do God's work, and undoubtedly that's what they do. They do God's work. So you may ask, what is left to do right now? And as I said earlier, people think that even like in a homicide investigation, a case like this, where you've recovered the car, you've recovered the remains, we believe, of Kiely Rodni. And of course, the police department, the Nevada County Sheriff's Office, wouldn't confirm that was her. And smartly, because they have to be a little more conservative and not make the confirmation that it's her until they either match it up by DNA, odontology, which is the dental work, or another means to identify her fingerprints. But she's in the car. The license plate of the car matches. It's her car. I would imagine she has identification on her. So we can make a loose identification. The police cannot do that. They have to wait till it's positively 100% identified. And that's why they're not making a 100% ID. Let me play a little bit of this. This was yesterday.
Developments in that urgent search for that missing California teen. We are going to listen to authorities now who are holding a news conference about that young lady that disappeared after a party in Truckee, California.
To get some more information into our investigation. We have been working with the family and really since the very beginning, trying to make sure that we focus on all of our efforts being for the family. And at this time, last night we did receive some information of the recovery of the vehicle that we've been searching for, and it was located inside the Prosser Lake. It was located within a search zone that we have been searching since the very beginning of our operation. We were very fortunate that we had the assistance of a volunteer group, the Adventures with Purpose, that came out with some very specific expertise and were able to help us in locating the vehicle that we had been searching for several weeks. It's at these times that we really want to recognize the reason why we're all here, and that is for this family. We've said that from day one with our staff, the incredible amount of collaboration that we've received from our partners in this region. Clearly being a mountain town, we're used to having great collaboration, knowing that none of us have enough resources to go around. But when we all work together, I think it is an incredible show of how committed all of our agencies are for our community here. Working hand in hand in unified command, joint command with the Placer County Sheriff's Office, folks from the California Highway Patrol, the Truckee Police Department, and our friends from the Federal Bureau of Investigations. The amount of effort that all of these agencies put together really truly is why we're here today. And as we eliminated a lot of tips and information that was coming in, I think it's very important to understand that all of that work did lead us to this time. And being able to focus on the services that we provide to our families here that are impacted We've recovered the vehicle. We recovered the vehicle last night. We have located a decedent inside the vehicle. We believe it is our missing person. We have not been able to positively identify, but it's more than likely where we are today. And we wanted to make sure that the family had all that information first. The last thing we want to do is have them learn information outside of our team. So I think that is one of the points that I really want to make sure that our communities know, and the folks that are watching today know, is truly how committed we've been throughout these last few weeks in coming to this resolution. It's still an active investigation, and I understand there will be, and we will continue to receive lots of questions regarding our investigation, and we will release what we can. But at this time, our commitment is to this family, and that is where we will consistently reach for making decisions on what we release. And it is still a very active investigation. So again, I appreciate everyone being here, getting this information out. It is the reason why we're here is because of the community support and the amount of work that was put into this investigation, to where we could clearly identify very specific areas to search. The Adventures with Purpose folks did just a fantastic job at being able to locate the vehicle as quickly as they did, based on, again, a lot of heavy lifting that the folks behind me have done throughout the last couple of weeks. So I appreciate everyone being here.
So, folks, you heard that was the chief of police of the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. This is it's closure, but yet we're all sad. There's the mom of Kiely Rodni. We can't even imagine what she's going through. And we just hoped and prayed that there would be some type of closure. And I think we were all hoping and praying that Kiely would be recovered alive. And that unfortunately did not happen. And, we all don't totally appreciate what the officers and the police and Adventures with Purpose, what they went through in searching for this young girl, and what they go through every day, because this is what they do for a living, these guys. And these guys are truly amazing. And here's some of their, that's the old, on the screen is the dive insignia. And Doug Bishop, the guy with that crazy beard, he's almost like ZZ Top, Yesterday, I played a little bit of a video showing what they do, the work they do. I'd like to play a little bit more of it today, because it really shows the heroic nature of the work that they do, and how they were able to find this young girl when others had failed. Let me put this on the screen.
And be able to tell the family she's not here.
Now to a Fox 40 News exclusive. This unique dive team searching through the crystal clear waters of Donner Lake for 16-year-old Kiely Rodni. The team specializing in cracking cold cases free of charge, and they came from miles away to help solve her mysterious disappearance, now 2 weeks after she went missing. Starting early today, Fox 40's Rowena Shaddix was the only reporter with those divers through their hours-long investigation. She shows us what they were doing in hopes of discovering clues about where the missing teen may have gone.
The cold morning began before 8 o'clock with Adventures with Purpose, a search and rescue dive team assisting the challenge ahead at Donner Lake. Originally from Oregon, the team has millions of followers on their YouTube channel and are known for traveling around the country for a special purpose. In the last 2 years, they've solved 23 cold cases for family members of loved ones who've been missing, some for decades.
When you miss a loved one or a friend or a community member and you don't know, that's a nightmare. And so what we provide is those answers when we're able to. That's what we're hoping to do in this case.
Today, the 6-man team arrived for their next mission even before the sun rose.
With 15 to 20 million viewers per month, there was an overwhelming demand, not only by multiple different agencies, all of our supporters.
No red tape, a fresh set of eyes, and unorthodox search tactics are what the team believes sets them apart.
We use a side scan, a down image, and a live scope.
And a sonar system that provides 3 different angles of looking at the water. They're in contact with local authorities and Kiely's extended family. Although the team could not say specifically what brought them out here to Donner Lake, they are concentrating on the boat launch and the area surrounding it.
I really wish I could tell you. Unfortunately, I can't. What we're working with right now, no one knows.
We're taking our resources and the intel that we've been provided, and we're trying to see different avenues, different places to look.
They scoured Donner Lake for more than 2 hours, checking on several areas where her car could have entered the water.
This location is clear, but for us, this is just one step closer to process of elimination.
The team then checked out a couple of ponds in the Cold Stream area, but team leader Doug Bishop says they were too shallow. They then went to the Boca Reservoir, putting 2 boats in the water where they searched for several more hours.
There's multiple roads that lead here directly from Prosser. We also know that there were several parties at Prosser that night, as well as this lake that night, as well as Stampede.
They say they're thinking out of the box, concentrating on areas which haven't been checked out yet.
It's tough. I don't want to find her. If she's here and something has happened to her, I do. I want to be able to provide the family in this community answers so they can properly lay her to rest.
Rowena Shaddix, Fox 40 News.
Folks, an amazing, amazing organization. And as I said, you could go on their website, Adventures with Purpose, and you can make a donation. I think they rely on donations as well as their YouTube channel. Just an incredible organization. This organization, and of course, EquiSearch, 2 amazing organizations that, as I've said a million times, maybe you're getting bored hearing me say that, is they do God's work, and they absolutely 100% do God's work. Folks, this is Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories. If you like this channel, we do real crime stories from a police perspective. I'm a retired 27-year veteran of the NYPD, Detective Sergeant from Manhattan North Homicide Squad. Go on our YouTube, hit the subscribe button. It's free. Give us a thumbs up, ring that bell. If you want to support us financially, we have a Patreon with 3 different levels. And we also have a YouTube channel memberships. And you can see the folks in the chat with the green font. They're all members of our channel, and we appreciate each and every one of them. I'm going to read some of the chat. True Montour. See, their focus was areas that he had not cleared yet. So when they got Ron Presser, they told them where they had been able to search to eliminate. You know, guys, if you know me, part of investigation is to eliminate things, eliminate the possibilities. So that's why investigation is so time consuming, because you have to eliminate things. And in the beginning, when it was said without any real evidence, and I question this, that she was abducted, I don't know where that came from. But I think that can hurt the investigation when you throw rumors out there like that. Bill, PJK, Bill, you would be a big help with research for cases. Consider, please. Well, PJK, you could email me at policeoffthecuff, the number 1 @gmail.com, and let me know what you have in mind. Dawn Marie, good to see you. Alicia B, hello at Nikki Bella. Marilyn Manetta, 350 in the chat. That's awesome. Well, thank you. guys, we're building up this channel. I'm trying to get like Duty Ron numbers, you know, and maybe I'm not as sexy as Duty Ron. I don't know. He's got the bald head. Maybe he's a little sexier than me. But Don Marie, good to see you, boss man Bill. Erin, wasn't Sammy the one who hopped up the narrative of abduction? You know, Erin, I didn't want to name anyone by name, but there was a lot of noise with this case, a lot of real noise. People just talking nonsense. And that doesn't help an investigation. And in fact, what do they call us? They call YouTube content creators. Quite a few content creators that create a lot of noise too, with no basis of any truth. They just make stuff up. And I find that troubling because it doesn't help the investigation whatsoever. There's the picture on the screen of Kiely Rodni, again, 16 years old. She had graduated high school early so she could start college. And of course, that's the picture of her 2013 silver in color Honda CRV. So that, in fact, was the vehicle that was recovered. So I don't think there's any doubt that the person inside that car is Kiely. However, a body inside a body of water or left in a body of water for 15 days decomposes. And I'm sure that will affect the autopsy. I think they will be able to determine cause of death. However, the toxicology, which I think one of the police captains in the interview indicated could take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And that's important too. Was Kiely intoxicated? Did she take any drugs? Did someone slip her a drug? You know, Kathy B. Erin, no need to hate on a wonderful human. Ryan thanked Adventures with Purpose. Earlier this AM told them the Hellcat was there. At least Upchurch is a man of his word. This case hit home for him. That little girl. True Montour gave him AWP a head start knowing what he had been able to check. Trucker Steve, nice that some mods say hello. You're Jojo Jolene, thank you. You are absolutely sexy at Bill Cannon. Thank you. I didn't say I wasn't sexy. I'm just maybe not as sexy as Duty Ron, you know? We can all have a sense of humor here, you know, in this dark and bleak time. And we all pray for the family. The mom, of course, that's the picture of the mom on the screen. The mom has gone through absolute hell with this case. And again, we pray for her. And, you know, some people have asked about the investigation. And, you know, many people think that, oh, the car's recovered, the body's recovered, investigation is over. And no, it is not over. And one of the things that I have a question about, and this can only be really found out through interview and interrogation, and that is, did anyone see her get into her car from the party and drive off? That's very important, you know. Was she alone? Did she, did someone, and what time was it? You don't hear a lot about times in this case, even in regards to when Adventures with Purpose recovered this vehicle and the body. You don't hear exact times, and that's a police thing. When the police do anything, the first thing they do is look at their watch and write down the time. So it's like Wishing B. No, the police are the ones who said that. Wishing B, I think you're right. Initially, I think the police said that it could have been an abduction. And I found that I didn't think that that was particularly helpful. And there wasn't any real evidence of that, you know. So I questioned why, in fact, that was done. And I don't think it helped the case at all, you know. It that they would put that, oh, she was possibly abducted. I don't think that helps at all. But it was put out there, and you know, once it's put out there, you have to live with it, and that's what we did. I'm going to play a little bit of this on the screen.
Track down the 16-year-old.
It's nothing different than any other case that we take on. We're going to come in, we're going to utilize those search tactics that we've developed, and we're going to start at square one and work our way out. And we're not going to leave any inch of water uncovered.
Adventures with Purpose said they have notified Rodney's family, but again, I want to stress this. The local lead agency that's leading this investigation, the Placer County Sheriff's Office, say that they have not yet confirmed that that body belongs to her. But we do expect to learn a lot more later this morning. First at 9 a.m. here on the West Coast, Adventures with Purpose is going to be holding their press conference where they'll reveal everything that went into their search this weekend. And then just a few short hours after that at 11 a.m. here Pacific time, the Placer County Sheriff's Office will host their own press conference. Mitch?
That is Alex Capriello live in California for us this morning. Thank you, Alex.
Renee B, thank you. She says, go to Profiling Evil. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Go to Profiling Evil YouTube channel. Ex-law enforcement posted how they help Adventures with Purpose do pre-investigative before the search. Thank you, Renee B. I will definitely check that out and find out about that. I don't know if I could be traveling all over the country to do that, but I definitely have the skills to do that. True Montour gave AWP a head start, knowing what they had been able to check. You know, one of the things, of course, that Adventures with Purpose does, they don't just go into a situation without talking to the police and without first being advised what's been done, what needs to be done, what areas have been searched, what areas do we need to research. All of that stuff is so, so important. And I believe they did that. But even though they went back to an area that had already been extensively searched, and apparently they've done that before when law enforcement has said, oh no, we searched that area. They've gone back to the area and lo and behold, recovered a body afterwards. And that's quite incredible. But yet they understand that it cannot, everyone has the skill level that they possess. And law enforcement admitted to that they do not have the skill level of Adventures with Purpose. And, you know, the captain, Captain Sam Brown said, you know, cops do a lot of different things. Not many of them are scuba experts, you know, and therefore, does it make sense that a private organization gets better at diving and searching and using high tech and even having better equipment than police departments? And that captain I thought was great, Captain Sam Brown, very humble. He hard to handle. Bill going to be singing to I'm Too Sexy by Right, said Fred. Bill and Duty run do a dance off. I don't think so, but that was funny that you suggested that. Hi, Bill. How sad would it be if her GPS accidentally led her into the water? That would be very sad, but I think that there's probably going to come back. Well, we have word of mouth from her friend Sam that she was intoxicated. Now, we all asked, why did Sam then leave her to her own devices if she was intoxicated? Why didn't Sam go get her and either help her get a ride or drive her car home for her? We all asked that. And, you know, friends need to look out for friends. And I don't know if Sammy did that, you know. Sergeant Bill, wasn't Kiely's car found in the opposite direction of where she wanted to head for home? I know that it was found upside down. I don't specifically know which direction it was in. The current in the water and the car filling up with water could change the direction of the vehicle. So the direction that it was recovered, unless there's some science to that, an expert that can tell us, oh no, this is what happens when a car goes, and there probably is a science to that. I just do not happen to be an expert at vehicles going into the water and what direction or how they sink or how fast they sink. Many people spoke about that instrument that they sell on Adventures with Purpose website that breaks your window, pops your window. Because if you wind up in a body of water and you sink, obviously your electricity in your car is not going to work, and you can't break the window. It's too difficult. So that tool can pop out and shatter a window. And they recommend that everyone have that. And it's probably a good idea to have that. No one plans in crashing into the water, that's for sure, right? Julie Waldron, I really don't think that the local police should be criticized. Thanks to them for putting their egos aside and accepting help from other companies and agencies. Julie Waldron, 100%. You're right. Thank God they didn't say, we can handle this ourselves. We know how to do this. We'll do it ourselves. We don't need help. They took the help. And the help, lo and behold, Moonlight View, we love you, Kylie. Absolutely, guys. Wishing B, the law enforcement person said that the concept of abduction gave them access to more resources, and they wanted to cover that option. Yes, but it also can throw the investigation into a tizzy and have you look in the wrong direction. And it gives the wrong signal, you know. I know that for an Amber Alert, there's 4 steps, and one of them is a possible abduction for it to be declared an Amber Alert. So this one, apparently, they couldn't claim it was an abduction, so they couldn't declare it an Amber Alert. So that's where they were at with that. Let me play another. I'm going to play another little video here. It's good to get a little from every news organization.
This morning, a possible break in the case of a missing teen who seemingly vanished weeks ago. A dive team finding a body and a vehicle in a Northern California lake where they've been searching for 16-year-old Kiely Rodni. The dive team saying the vehicle matches the description of Rodni's SUV and was found in 14 feet of water, a couple of 100 yards away from the campground where the teen was last seen. Rodni attended a party at the campground August 5th with more than 100 people, some of whom were reportedly drinking.
We're trying to find out exactly what happened. And at this point, we believe that someone knows, someone saw her, but they're not coming forward.
Rodni's mother said she texted her daughter during the party and the teen was planning to drive home that night.
I asked her to wake me up when she got home, and she said she would. And then she never came home.
Authorities overnight did not confirm the identity of the body, but the dive team, known as Adventures with Purpose, posted on social media they believe it is Rodni.
I started a YouTube series called Adventures with Purpose.
ABC News profiled Adventures with Purpose earlier this year. The group has more than 2 million YouTube subscribers, posting videos as they try to crack cold cases, searching where some authorities do not have the tools or skills to go.
How often do you get the results that you want?
For the cases that we take on, between 15 and 18% is what we're currently solving.
Adventures with Purpose says using sonar often helps them search better than police can. As for the Rodni case, authorities plan to give an update later today.
Folks, you know, I see it in the chat and I see it all over. We have nothing but praise for Adventures with Purpose. Just unbelievable. Just, I mean, now that I know about them and we come across other missing person cases, I'll be all over it. I'd call them myself, you know. Renee B, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. They don't travel. They correlate, verify information for a search grid. They have great respect for law enforcement. Yeah, that's, you know, something. If you're in this business, if you're doing this type of work, you really need to work hand in hand, because if you know anything about law enforcement, there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of egos, and you don't want to step on anybody's toes. You want to have the cooperation of law enforcement on your team, on your side, and everyone work together. It's hard to say, you know, let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but that's a necessity. It's a necessity to do that, to work together, and so important, you know. Folks, if you're in the need of an attorney in the New York metropolitan area, Joe Murray is your man. Retired member of the service, retired as a police officer, went to law school, got a law degree, was a heavyweight boxer on the side, and he's a great defense attorney. You can call Joe Murray at 718-514-3855 or email him at joe@jmurray-law.com. And his website is jmurray-law.com. He's your man. He's an intimidating lawyer, so he's going to win a lot of cases. Joe Murray, attorney at law. Guys, if anyone out there has a small business and wants to advertise on Police Off the Cuff, give us a call or just email us at policeoffthecuff, the number 1 @gmail.com, and we'll make a commercial for you. And we have good rates. And look, we have an international audience, and our audience is growing bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. You know, folks, when I started covering this case, as a missing person case grows and the person's not recovered for a while, as the days and the nights and the weeks go on, the chance of recovery is just very, very remote. And it breaks your heart.
Aviators and rescue divers joining forces at the Prosser Creek Reservoir
There's
in Truckee.
the
Live Copter
location.
3 capturing the moment a car was pulled out of the water Sunday night. A volunteer search group called Adventures with Purpose says their divers found that car as well as a body here, the same area where 16-year-old Kiely Rodni was reported missing.
It was a pretty big stretch for them to look for her. She could have been anywhere.
Adventures with Purpose says the car they found matches the description of Kiely's car, which is a silver Honda CRV. It's important to point out that as of late Sunday night, the Placer County Sheriff's Office said it had not yet confirmed the identity of the body that was found.
It just baffles me that they weren't able to locate her in 2 weeks.
Kiely was last seen on August 6th at a party with hundreds of other teens at the Prosser Family Campground. Several law enforcement agencies, including the Placer and Nevada County Sheriff's Offices, California Highway Patrol, and the FBI, have been searching for Kiely ever since.
For them to not be able to find her, it is pretty, I don't know. It bothers me a little, honestly.
Adventures with Purpose was brought in to join the search just days ago and credits their use of sonar to locate missing people. Many in the community questioning why it took until their involvement for law enforcement to potentially have an update to the search in this area.
Why don't they have the equipment that they had to find her? Why, where we live, we have bodies of water everywhere.
But others, such as this man who is a monthly donor to Adventures with Purpose, tell me they do not think this was an easy task.
I don't fault law enforcement in any way. They, I know they put in thousands of hours of searching, and Adventures with Purpose just has a specialty. They have the knowledge of reading their sonar equipment.
While the search for answers continues, there is hope that the discoveries made by Adventures with Purpose will give Kiely's family some closure.
I knew if anybody could, they would be the ones.
Thanks.
Well, folks, I think we got a pretty good overview on this case. And where is it going from here? Of course, there's a lot more investigation. One of the things that we learn as parents about this is really to keep our kids on a short leash. I know it's hard with a 16-year-old girl, 16-year-old boy. You can't stop your kids from drinking and going out. But one of the things maybe you can plant into their head is if you drink, that little limerick, if you drink, don't drive, And I always hammered that into my son's head through their whole life. And I know it's not an easy thing. And, all you can do is hope and pray that your kids are safe and they listen to you. They listen to you, Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Any of you guys that were, this is your first time on Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories, especially the Duty Ron subscribers and fans. Thank you so much for coming and joining my channel. I'm not saying you subscribed, but thanks for even watching a show. We do things from a police perspective. Usually I have my partner here with me, retired NYPD detective and straight out of Brooklyn, Phil Grimaldi. He couldn't make it tonight, so I flew solo. It's tough to fly solo because you got to talk all the time, Yeah, and sometimes I like to take a back seat and not talk every single minute. But here I am talking every single minute. Folks, again, thank you so much. God bless everybody here and stay safe out there. and say a prayer for the family of Kiely Rodni and also for Kiely Rodni.
One episode, just saying enough.